The Wild U, Professor Wild U. Philip, let's get into Texas Tech here because I think this is a story that cannot be understated in the Big 12. First and foremost, it makes sense with the investment that Texas Tech will be winning at the rate that they are winning. The number one transfer portal class, if you ask certain outlets, and millions of dollars pumped into their roster. But what's crazy to me, they're doing nothing different than what Texas did in the offseason or Penn State did in the offseason, right? Why is it working for Texas Tech, but not working for some of these schools that have already dropped out, or even Florida State who's fallen apart, who've already dropped out, who also relied on money in the transfer portal?
I mean, Texas Tech had one of the most expensive rosters in the nation, Drake. I mean, Texas Tech and Cody Campbell, this team is absolutely juice stacked. The edge rushing is insane. Utah saw that. I saw that live, man. It was insane. I actually have not seen a game where Utah lost in the trenches like they did in that Texas Tech game. That's going back years and years and years. There's a special team, especially in the trenches. And Cody Campbell just funded. They've got so much money in that roster and the transfer portal and everything. It's a completely different game they're playing. And plus, we got to be honest with ourselves. The SEC is a different level, right, than the Big 12. Every week and stuff, the opponents you're playing and everything. So if you've got such a juiced up roster in the Big 12, you're going to win a lot more games and stuff because you don't have that SEC talent on the roster any given week. So right now, Texas Tech's got what I think is top 3 to 5 roster in college football. I'm serious about that. This team is absolutely juiced, good. This Texas Tech's going to win a playoff game this year. I'm telling you right now, Drake, they're good enough in the trenches to get that done. And it's a special team and everything. As far as the future of college football too, with Cody Campbell's backing, I don't see that changing anytime soon. If you see Texas Tech recruiting, they're landing 5-star players they're a top SEC program. It's insane what's going on out there in Lubbock right now. And man, if you're a Texas Tech fan, I would be jacked. Definitely. They're
beating everybody in the Big 12 handedly, beating everybody out of conference handedly. My question then would be, I know that Drayton McLean is a Baylor alumni. He owned the Houston Astros for a while. I know there are Taylor Swift's fiance went to Cincinnati. There are rich people who have gone to every one of these schools. I think we're even seeing the investment in BYU basketball right now come from some big pockets. Why? What's holding back Utah or Oklahoma State or West Virginia? I'm going to kind of pool together some of these Big 12 schools. What's holding back, in essence, the rest of the Big 12 from doing this, from doing what Cody Campbell and Texas Tech are doing?
Well, do you have a billionaire, number one? Not every single one of these schools has a billionaire.
That B is pretty big, by the way. That B is huge.
We're not talking about a deca millionaire here. We're talking about a freaking multi-billionaire like Cody Campbell. So first off, a lot of these programs don't have that. Oklahoma State had T. Boone Pickens, and look what he did for the program 20 years ago, 30 years ago, right? So Cody Campbell's a different breed, the way that he got his wealth, the way that he actually played at Texas Tech before as an offensive lineman, the passion that he has and everything. Is just really a great blend for Texas Tech. Not everybody has that luxury of having a former player become a billionaire. How freaking lucky is that, though, Drake? Let's think about that. What about Baylor? What about even Utah or anybody else in the nation? What if you had a quarterback that became a billionaire and stuff and just throws billions into your program, seemingly? Not billions, right? But many, many millions. So I think that Texas Tech is very lucky. And it's kind of ironic, too, that someone like Pat Mahomes isn't funding a lot of that program, but Cody Campbell is. Because they've got other rich NFL players right now that might be throwing money in the Matador Collective, but I'm not certain about that. But I think they're just really lucky and stuff. And not every school has that. And not every school has the willingness of a former player, someone so diehard devoted that they're willing to invest in their college football program. Because guess what? You're not going to get you're not getting a true return. If you were throwing in the money in the stock market or something, you're actually getting a return on your investment. Cody Campbell's just doing it based on his goodwill and everything and wanting to help his program because he loves Texas Tech. It helps the city of Lubbock too. And I'm sure there's some kickbacks there, but I'm sure he's not actually washing everything clean there. I'm sure he's throwing a lot of money into that program still. So it's just a unique situation, very fortuitous for Texas Tech.
So do we need billionaires at the helm of every program, right? In essence, that's what I'm hearing is that the reason that a UCF with Disney World in your backyard, right? Maybe you're in Orlando, which is a good market compared to Ames, Iowa. But what you need is the billionaire word. And if you don't have that, you cannot be Texas Tech. Are they going to have just a leg up on everybody for the rest of time until somebody else finds a billionaire in their backyard?
Until the sport changes, the answer is yes. And that's bunk, Drake. I hate that, actually, because like the idea of developing a program, developing a talent, developing a 2 or 3 star kid into a 5-star is kind of gone. Yeah. Especially with transfer portal and this billionaire, like we're becoming like, it's almost like European soccer and stuff where you just throw like a bunch of money at rosters and everything just to juice them up as much as possible. And it's a year to year. It's almost like a monthly free agency. That's what college football has become. And that's the dark side of the sport, too. You've got some protective mechanisms like the College Sports Commission, NIL Go, the clearinghouse from Deloitte and everything that we've talked about a lot, especially on social media. I know you've talked about that, too, on your channel here. And like those are mechanisms to bring in and try to get fair market value on NIL contracts. But really, there's no teeth to that. Like, and so everyone's really kind of violating that, forgetting that, and not taking that very seriously. So until there's more teeth to regulations around NIL, the billionaire is going to win out. And if you've got a billionaire like Texas Tech, then you're going to win a lot of football games. You're going to get on TV a lot, and you're going to be more significant than ever. And you're probably going to, I mean, seriously, Texas Tech, they could win a national championship with Cody Campbell as the benefactor here. That's how much money he's putting into that program. That's how much he cares. And if you've got somebody like that, you could win a freaking national championship. So that is the day we're living in, where billionaires reign. And until we get more controls, it's going to be like that.
I do think that a piece of this does come from the culture of development. So at a Utah, if you find a billionaire in your backyard, Utah has never had the coaching, the money or ability to facilitate a team the way that Ohio State has, whether it's the coaching staff, the players, or any of it. But Utah has made its bet on developing a 2-star player into a 4 or 5-star college football player. So you were a 3-star in high school. Now you're the equivalent of an NFL draft pick in the first 3 rounds because of what Utah was able to turn you into. Giving a Texas Tech, a Utah, access to 4 and 5-star high schoolers with that level of development already rooted in your program, I think is what's going to make some of these grassroots programs like a Texas Tech, who just has never been at the front of college football, or Utah, who when they are at the front of college football still are not in a national championship conversation necessarily. They will be, because the development is there in these halls to grab the better athletes and turn them into even better college football players. Does that feel, 30 seconds here, does that feel like a fair assessment?
It feels like the game's changed a lot, where like now that NIL is so significant, players are looking for more money, which makes sense and everything. So the day of development's still around, but it's changed a little bit. I don't know if it's ever going to go back to that place where we were, even 5 years ago in college football. So again, the billionaires reign today until there's more teeth to college football.
Yeah. Well, and Western Kentucky is now developing that player for 3 years until you get him. That's kind of how it goes now. Coming up, Utah to the Big Ten, not tomorrow, but maybe the next day. Locked on Big 12. Quickly, today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is exactly where I go when I need tickets to a college football game. I want to go see BYU and Utah. I want to go see Texas Tech play anybody. Texas Tech versus the world. And with college football back, Game Time is exactly where I go to find those tickets. That's why I use Game Time. I pull it up, couple of taps, amazing deals. I'm talking college football games as low as $25, even lower in some cases. The app makes it super simple. Could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKED on college for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, promo code LOCKED on college for $20 off at Game Time. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time and do it today.